Welcome to this Call of Champions class reveal video. Introducing Avalanche, defender of the Frozen Valley. When the Ravager's unholy army attacked his beloved monastery, Avalanche fought back and became a legend. When Avalanche isn't storming the Champions Arena, he stands watch over the realm of ice. Avalanche's abilities include Blizzard. Avalanche screams a cone of ice and freezes his enemies. Squall. Avalanche swings his mighty hammer and heals himself for every enemy that he hits. Icebreaker. Avalanche slams his hammer into the ground and does bonus damage to frozen enemies. Hailstorm. Avalanche summons a field of ice. Enemies in the zone can be stunned by his hammer strikes. And Hypothermia. Avalanche encases himself in ice, reflecting damage and stunning enemies who attack. Use Avalanche's Blizzard ability to freeze multiple enemies. Then follow up with Avalanche's Icebreaker ability to do extra damage to frozen targets. Or, if Avalanche is low on health, use Squall on the frozen targets to regain health and get away quickly. Magmatus, the Molten Harbinger. Magmatus was enslaved for centuries in the depths of his creator's castle, until another champion, the mischievous Scorch Wildfire, liberated him. When Magmatus isn't fighting at your command, he follows Scorch like a loyal companion. Magmatus abilities include Burning Blood. Magmatus hunkers down, reflecting damage to ranged and melee attackers. Meltdown. Magmatus hunches over and rises up in a roar, expelling magma and rock, damaging and taunting nearby enemies. Molten Charge. Magmatus charges and drips magma along his path. All enemies take reduced armor and fire damage over time. The enemy tackled by Magmatus is stunned and damaged. Lava Flow. Magmatus releases a flow of lava that damages and debuffs all enemies near the fiery pool. And Eruption. Magmatus spews lava onto all enemies in a target radius. Each targeted enemy is surrounded by a pool of lava that continues to damage and debuff them as long as they stand within it. When facing a group of enemies, open with Molten Dash. Follow up with Meltdown. This ability taunts enemies, forcing them to attack, but only with their primary abilities. Then drench taunted enemies with Magmatus Lava Flow. If your enemies try to escape, pull them back to Magmatus with Eruption, then turn your enemy's damage against them with Burning Blood. Introducing Gallen of Timber's Grove. Eons ago, a powerful nymph placed a curse on Gallen because of his arrogant disregard for the destruction of an ancient forest. The curse transformed him into a massive tree monster. When Gallen isn't at your command, he toils to protect and preserve nature until the spell is lifted. Galen's abilities include Punch Out. Gallen uses his massive rock hand to smash his enemy, damaging and taunting them. This deals extra damage to snared targets. Timber. Gallen drops his elbow on his foe, making a crater that damages and stuns enemies within it. Stonebark. Gallen thickens his bark, increasing his defensive capabilities and dealing damage back to his attackers. Galen's Wrath. Gallen roars and swings his mighty fists, damaging and snaring all enemies around him. And Death Vine. Gallen summons a monstrous vine at his feet that runs along the earth, snaring opponents in its way. Get in close and use Galen's Wrath to snare multiple enemies. Then single out the most threatening enemy and hit them with Galen's Punch-Out skill. Use Death Vine to snare enemies if they try to escape, and pummel them with Timber. If the action gets too heavy, Gallen should fire his Stonebark damage reflection and make his enemies think twice about attacking him. Thanks for watching this Call of Champions class reveal. Visit callofchampions.com for the latest news and information.